Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Hiren and welcome to Double H. And this is a brand new OnePlus 9R. Let's get to it. Okay, so let's start with the unboxing experience. FYI, this is the light blue color version of the OnePlus 9R. It has 8GB of RAM and 120GB of storage. The unboxing experience is the usual one you get with the OnePlus phones, or almost all the OnePlus phones. And here we have the Warp Charge 65T with the wire, which is the older version, which has a USB-A to USB-C connector. Inside this box we have a silicone case, which is good enough for temporary use, and we have paperwork, which is usual for OnePlus phones. Now let's turn on the OnePlus 9R and see what it has to offer. So right off the bat, let's get the specifications out of the table. The OnePlus 9R has a 6.55-inch AMOLED display, which is 1080p. It has a 402 pixels per inch density, a 20:9 aspect ratio. It has obviously a 120Hz fluid AMOLED display. This phone comes with Android 11 pre-installed. It has a Snapdragon 870 chip, which is not the latest one. The newest one is the 888 chip, but the 870 is a step up from the 865 and 865 Plus. It has a variant of 8GB as well as 12GB of RAM, 128 or 256 UFS 3.1 storage, a 4500 mAh battery, which charges really fast because of the 65 watts warp charge. I know that for OnePlus phones, performance is a big issue, so I did do benchmark tests on both the OnePlus 8T as well as OnePlus 9R. So yeah, you guys can check it out here. If you are the kind of person who uses these kind of softwares like Geekbench, you already know what the numbers mean. So I'm not gonna be saying what these are, and I'm not gonna be dictating everything. So if you do not understand what the Geekbench is, there's no real reason to check out what these are. So if you don't want to see this, you can skip ahead to the next part. It's clear from these benchmarks that the OnePlus 9R is definitely better in performance than the OnePlus 8T, but not by a lot. It's not that much of a difference that it's gonna be a deciding factor in any kind of thing. But performance is one thing. Let's talk about the cameras. Moving on to the camera, it has a Sony IMX 586 camera with 48 megapixel for the main camera. It has optical image stabilization as well as electrical image stabilization. It has a 16 megapixel wide camera, which is, I believe, a little bit more wider than the OnePlus 8T. This one has a 123 degrees of field of view. It has a 5 megapixel macro lens, which is okay, I guess. A monochrome lens, which is 2 megapixel, which I really don't get why they keep putting these kind of useless lenses into these phones just to increase the cost. This phone can record up to 4K 60 FPS, slow motion videos of 1080p at 240 FPS or 720p videos at 480 FPS. Then there are the other features like high dynamic range, macro shots, portrait, ultra short, HDR, video nightscape, which is a new thing. I'll try to showcase that new feature, which is the video nightscape, in this video. This is a camera test segment where I show all the pictures that I had taken from the OnePlus 9R. You guys can take a look at these pictures and see if these are good enough for you. In certain selfies, my hair hasn't blurred out because it doesn't have good edge detection. but in some others, they are pretty good. If you don't want to watch this part, you can skip to the next part because I'm going to be using the same pictures to compare it with the OnePlus 8T. This one also has nightscape, which is not as good as the iPhones or the Samsung Galaxy phones, but it is still okay. The wide nightscape is still lagging behind a lot, so it needs to be improved. This is also a nightscape shot, which is okay, but there's a lot of yellow in here. There's a different mode known as the tripod mode, which improves upon the already okay nightscape mode and takes good pictures like this one. Here there's overall better lighting and less yellowish color. Same is the case with this photo. The normal nightscape has a more yellowish color to it and the colors are not that realistic. So like I promised, this is the nightscape mode. Nightscape video mode to be exact. It is actually pretty underwhelming, but it is an okay mode because if you try to take the same video without the nightscape mode, you wouldn't be able to see a thing like this. This is how it's going to be looking without any nightscape mode. So taking that into consideration, this mode is pretty good for light darkness. I haven't been able to use this phone for a lot because I just got it. So this video is just going to be a first impression and an unboxing. So the first time I got it, I was like, okay, I did not think this was going to be glossy because, well, obviously glossy finishes are going to catch a lot more fingerprint than the non-glossy versions, which is the matte versions. But I think this is alright because unlike the regular glossy finish, this is a kind of a special kind of glossy finish which does not catch as much fingerprints. And I really think that the difference between the fingerprints magnetism of both these colors are actually almost the same. So I think the glossy finish looks great and it's also not that much fingerprinting. So the other thing I really noticed when I took this phone in my hand was it's very similar to the OnePlus 8T. Almost like they just took the OnePlus 8T and changed a few things, which are the railings, I'm not sure what I should call it, the edges. On the OnePlus 8T, they are glossy metal finishes, whereas in the OnePlus 9R, they are metal finishes, but it is a matte finish. The back is glossy finish instead of matte finish. And the other obvious one, the cameras. These ones are not Hasselblad cameras, but they are still an improvement, which I'll try to showcase in the following. I'll just try to make a camera comparison between these two cameras. So, camera comparison coming up. So here's a camera comparison between the OnePlus 8T and the OnePlus 9R. Here I'll try to show some differences between the two cameras. On the left we have the OnePlus 8T and on the right we have the OnePlus 9R. Now I can say that the OnePlus 9R has a lot more color to it. Actually not a lot, a little bit more color to it. Also the OnePlus 9R's camera can capture a little bit more detail from shadows, which is pretty visible from this picture of my dog. But when there is enough lighting available, you really cannot tell the difference between the cameras. I will be showing some more pictures and you guys can decide what to think about this. So that's the camera comparison. As you guys saw, there's not a lot of difference, but the OnePlus 9R does show a little bit of more color and it does look a little bit better in my opinion. Another thing I did notice is that I felt like the speakers of the 9R were better, but let's check it out right now. Okay, you guys heard it. I'm not really sure. I feel like both of them are almost the same. But maybe it's just me, but I feel like the OnePlus 9R is a little bit better, a little bit less noisy, I guess. But maybe it's just me. Then we have the displays, which are basically the same, but let's just try it out.
Okay, this part is totally useless because it's basically the same display the phone has, so you really cannot tell any difference between these two.
The spec sheet doesn't differentiate between them in any manner, so yeah, it's almost the same. It is the same. I really don't know what to say about these phones because both the OnePlus 8T and OnePlus 9R are almost the same phone. The OnePlus 9R being a little bit better version. So that's it. That's the end of the video. But yeah, I gotta make this video long somehow. So I'm just gonna try to find some differences between these two, which is going to be hard. The first difference was the new Snapdragon 870 chip, which is not the latest, but it is an improvement from the Snapdragon 865 and 865 Plus. Even though the cameras look different, they aren't really that much different because the main camera for both the phones is 48 megapixel, the wide camera is 16 megapixel, and the monochrome camera is 2 megapixel, and the which was the other one? The macro camera, they're the 5 megapixel, same things. Except some of those cameras are actually better versions in the 9R, but still, they're almost the same. Another thing to note is that the OnePlus 9R has a brighter display. The cameras are almost the same. They both have the same batteries. Their charging speeds are almost the same. Well, they are the same. The displays are the same. Same options: 8GB RAM with 128GB of storage, 12GB of RAM with 256 storage, and all the other stuff are basically the same. But there's no question of it, the OnePlus 9R is the new value champion in the OnePlus lineup, at least, because there are other phones which may be better value, depends on people's preferences, but at least for now, the OnePlus 9R seems to be the best value phone in the market right now. Okay guys, I'm really struggling to find any kind of differences, any major differences other than the ones I mentioned till now about these phones. So all I can really say is that, at least for now, the OnePlus 9R is a way better deal than the OnePlus 8T, which was the value champion last year. Almost every flagship features. It competed against the OnePlus 8 Pro and it costed way less. But now, the OnePlus 9R came along and, well, it crushed the competition. Well, it is actually better than the OnePlus 8T, so go for it. The OnePlus 9R for 40,000, whereas OnePlus 8T for 45,000. Definitely OnePlus 9R, go for it. That's it for me. Catch you guys later. Peace. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you guys want to see a camera comparison between the OnePlus 9R and the iPhone 12 Pro Max, just comment down below. I'll do it.